We're a little seasoned here on our second half. Did we bring the bottle in?
Definitely the second half. I thought we did.
I think, it's out there.
No, it's
what is it called?
It's Grayson.
It's called Grayson. It's in Texas.
Grayson.
Texas from the Grayson County.
Texas. Well, I don't know if it's Grayson County, but it's a Texas bourbon that we have tried before.
It's 118 proof.
And it's good.
119.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
It's really good.
119. Yeah, we liked it the first time, too.
I wonder where the distillery is. We need to go. I mean,
it's in Grayson County.
We can totally. I don't know if that's true. You don't know that.
Why would they call it Grayson if it's not in Grayson County?
Someone's last name.
Just saying. You know what? We talk about the bourbon trail over and over and over again. We could totally do a Texas trail, a Texas bourbon trail.
That'd be a lot easier than up in. We could easily.
I mean, there are a whole bunch we've talked about. You know?
Yep.
Anyway, we should probably talk about it at some point. Anyway, welcome to the second half of what did you call it? The Ides of December. What was that?
November.
The Ides of November.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, it's Movember. Do you guys ever buy into the whole no shave November thing? Have you ever done that?
No.
I've done it, but not for the sake of the program. I've done it because I'm essentially just lazy.
Yeah,
didn't want to. And then people are like, "Oh, you doing no shave November?" We're like,
yes.
I'm doing it for human rights.
I support men's health. That's for men's health, right?
Oh, well, I do it to save our razors.
I do it for climate change.
I think it's for men's health.
Get the fuck out of here.
Men's health awareness. I
like
think
those idiots that keep dumping shit on paintings.
Yeah, those guys
what
are
the
idiots.
fuck?
I don't know what the hell. What do they think they're doing? Of course, the paintings are covered in a glass.
And they're so foolish. If you watch the video of it, they like walk up to the painting and they're like, "Okay, I'm ready for I'm ready for my
splash,
event."
Splash, and then they apply
and they dump it on there. Oh yeah.
Hand.
Well, then they make a speech.
The two fools that tried to super glue themselves and it didn't work.
Morons.
It didn't work, so they just sat there behind the ropes, going, "Okay, this is my protest."
We ran out of our super glue, dried out too fast.
Shut the hell
I told them to buy the
don't
extended one, and they bought the fast drying stuff. Son of a bitch.
I know they're against oil, but their message is kind of lost in this whole thing.
Yeah, it's
you
foolish.
cannot be against oil. Oil is the foundation of just about every fucking thing we have in our house.
I wonder if it's oil-based paint they used.
Well, it's oil-based,
water-based.
Actually,
glue they used.
I think one was tomato soup. So
Yeah, one was water-based, but they complained that it was also tainted water, like Flint.
Oh.
From
Flint?
Well, I don't get
it's so stupid.
Yeah, these protests are just like these yahoos who you see over there in Europe who sit in the road to protest the climate and to block traffic.
Yeah,
and the guys going to work are
I would lose
pissed
my
off,
shit.
and they're yanking them off the road.
Oh, in Europe?
Oh yeah,
Good.
yeah. Then they slowly just kind of walk back, or no, kind of slink back to their spot as they're trying to yank the next person off.
I've
So
just run them
it just
over.
pissed me off. I wonder what kind of trouble
I
you'd get
would
in.
Lose my.
You know
I'm
what?
sure you would quite a bit.
I would say, I'm sorry, I didn't see them.
They're
Really?
low.
I
You
knew,
just run them all over.
I knew there was something going on. I just didn't see them.
You would go to jail forever.
I would just say, hey, look, I saw a bunch of people come over.
Like forever.
I saw them drag them away.
And
so
then I thought they
pulled
were gone.
forward. I thought they were gone. I pulled forward
Yeah.
and severed a few spleens. Sorry about that.
Can you sever a spleen?
You can rupture a spleen.
Yeah, I don't know if you sever spleens.
I guess if you're riding like maybe a sled with a sharp blade.
I was going to say, it has to be like some sort of like a snow.
You Santa Claus
What does the spleen do?
generates blood.
No.
Stores blood.
Okay, I'm thinking of the appendix. One of them does something to do with good bacteria.
Is it an endocrine system?
I think it's an endocrine when you're supine.
Supine, right.
The spleen is just above the stomach.
I think
it's part of the lymphatic system.
It's a filter.
It's an immune system. The
Hold on.
spleen stores
God,
it.
you're
It
doing too
filters
much-
blood.
You're talking
Just like
too-
I said.
Wait
It
a second.
detects bacteria, viruses, and other germs in your blood.
Yeah.
And then it produces white blood cells called
There you go.
lymphocytes to fight off the infections that cause the disease.
Okay, what does the appendix do? Because people remove
does
the
nothing,
appendix.
and-
That's not true.
No, it does nothing.
That's not true.
Look, How do you know that's not true?
I know it's not true.
The appendix doesn't do anything. In fact,
That's
they
not
say
true.
they don't know what the appendix is for.
I think that's...
They said that the appendix was used for some sort of
Let's see.
thing that happened in, million years ago.
Let's see. So I would tell you that it's not. It's not.
It says right there. Many
doesn't
people
matter.
believe.
It says researchers are now learning that the appendix may play a role in good health.
Good health, and it has to do with bacteria.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Yes, they do.
No,
Well, how come you won't
don't.
believe this, but you believe some of these other wacko
It's like
things?
you know what?
Did you say whack?
Wacko,
What does that mean?
like the moon is hollow.
No, look.
And it makes a ringing sound.
Well, look. You know why? It's because. What does it say? Historically, many people believed that the appendix served a little purpose. When it does get attended, usually it's because it becomes infected. But the reputation of the appendix is improving. Researchers are learning that your appendix may play a role in good health, but they don't say why. And they say they believe. They don't know. They also are developing less invasive ways to treat infections of the appendix.
It's a 4-inch long tube.
Ooh.
Is it 4 inch? I think it gets up to 4 inch.
Well, it says your appendix
4
is
inch.
exactly 4-inch long
Mine.
tube on every one.
Well, mine. I'm not bragging, but mine's closer to 5.
What's the girth?
I
What's your appendix girth?
I have the girthiest appendix you will ever, literally, ever see.
I think it's I think it's like a woman's vagina. I think
Lord.
it's just the potential for it to expand when you have the necessity to.
And it serves no purpose.
It's kind of like a balloon. You ever blow up a balloon and have that little thing sticking on the tail end
Well,
of
here,
it?
click
you
on
didn't
the
bite on that, Jeff.
click on the one that says what does the appendix do? Science ABC.
You didn't bite on my joke.
I didn't hear it.
He said it's kind of like the vagina, blah blah blah, and I said, and it serves no purpose. Right? Really, Sean?
Right.
Well, it's a
I can
small
promise you, the vagina serves a purpose.
tube-shaped pouch attached to your large intestine. It's located in the lower right side of your abdomen. The exact purpose of the appendix isn't known. The exact
from
purpose
that
of the
website.
appendix
I know what it
isn't
is.
known.
Well, just like
The exact purpose of the appendix isn't known.
just like
It's
music.
believed
just
it
like
may help
music is
recover
killing
from
us.
Is
diarrhea
that
inflammation.
DemocratScientist.com?
This is fucking-Pedia.
It's just like music is killing us.
DemocratScientist.com. Then.
Oh, my
okay,
God.
same thing.
All right, well, let's
It's 440 hertz compared to 432 hertz. Same thing. And the appendix.
My understanding was that it. You know how your bacteria.
You understand from what?
Hold on.
No.
Bacteria.
You need to clarify.
Hold on. Let me finish.
You need to start your source.
Let me finish.
Source.
Digestive bacteria.
Is this your
right?
Your
they have
Taiwanese
probiotics.
schooling?
You have probiotics and you have
Taiwanese.
antibiotics, right? Antibiotics and probiotics. They talk about how important it is for the flora in your digestive system.
In the gut.
Yeah, in your gut it's hugely critical for digestive
Yeah,
health.
you get sick. Like when you have a
Huge.
colonoscopy and you blast your
Correct.
ass out, you have to replace those. They want you to get on a probiotic.
That's exactly right. And they, as a matter of fact, a lot of times they say don't take antibiotics, take probiotics.
Right.
When you're fighting some sort of blah blah blah.
Like yogurt.
Like yogurt.
Yogurt's a good one.
That's a
Perfect
good one.
example.
Or kefir.
My understanding, and I don't remember where I read it. I should cite my samples.
Oh, God.
I should cite my sources. Is that the appendix aids in the storage of probiotics.
Negative.
That's my understanding. Find that.
No.
Look up appendix and probiotics.
Well, it says right here the appendix
It
is
is
a
true.
vestigial organ.
Exactly.
A vestigial.
Vestigial. Yeah.
Has shown that the appendix does have a number of important immune effects.
Sure does.
And other applications for developing fetuses and grown adults.
I'm a grown adult.
So. Does anybody?
What?
I'm a grown adult.
So it helps me.
No, the appendix
My
is-
appendix
look,
helps me.
The exact purpose of the appendix, nobody knows.
Look up appendix.
Well,
There's a
according
lot
to
of
those websites, they know.
There's
probiotics.
a lot of people
Probiotics.
that think they may know, and they may be right, they may
Yeah.
be not, but the bottom line is nobody knows what the fucking
Yeah.
appendix does. It's part of evolution, and I'm sure it had something to do with it. In fact, what they said is similar to what Paul said about the probiotic, but they didn't say it was necessarily for probiotic. But what they did say is that, do you know how you blow up a little tube balloon and they've got the little thing on the very end? the thing at the end,
and
then the more you blow into it, the further the tube expands. They say
like a balloon animal.
Correct. So that it's from diarrhea, inflammation, and infections of the small and large intestines. It's a way for it to expand and absorb some of that.
It also says people without the appendix have an increased risk of recurrent Clostridium difficile.
You're damn right.
Otherwise known as C.
Damn right,
diff.
that's what it says. I don't know what that means, but it sounds really, really important.
Clostridium difficile. Also known as C.
There we go.
diff.
So he found an article. You know what? This is the falsity, the illusion of the internet. Anything you want to find, you just have to add. Like what I just asked him to look up is appendix and probiotics. Now we found it as an article
the increased risk
that exactly
of
talks about
C. diff.
that.
The C. diff infections most often occur in long-term medical care facilities. That means you're eating tapioca pudding for too long.
So here we go. The appendix appears to modulate and interact with the immune system and has roles that researchers have not fully elucidated.
Elucidated. Nice. That's a
you
good
know what?
SAT word.
I need to elucidate that because I just feel like I wanted to use that in a sentence. All right, appendix with the rest of the immune system is complex and is theorized that the appendix is ill-suited to modern life because incidence of appendicitis is correlated with the availability of clean running water. What? Come on. Tell me what is for.
That's right, because you know why? The exact purpose of the appendix isn't known.
Shut the hell up. You know the saying.
The exact purpose of appendix is unknown.
You know the saying.
It says the existing research shows that people without an appendix have trouble maintaining a healthy gut bacteria level.
You're damn right. There
And
you
are
go.
prone
Where'd
to
you read that?
recurring
Where'd you read that?
If my appendix gets removed, therefore I turn fat.
No,
fat has nothing to do with it.
No, you just have issues digesting things.
And along with potentially,
and you have running stools, and you have
potentially
diarrhea.
increased risk of Crohn's disease.
Yeah, Crohn's. How about that? Crohn that, mother effer.
I don't think
And
that's true.
You don't want Crohn. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because I think that a lot of people try to shove these. And look, there's no purpose to. I think that it's kind of like people trying to.
Why would God put an organ in your body that has no purpose?
I'm sure there's a purpose for it. I just don't. It's unknown.
It's unknown.
Yeah, and that's what these folks are trying to do. They're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to jam it in there.
Oh, just like the people who know what this crystal skulls throughout the world.
Exactly. Some know, maybe some don't. I don't know.
I'm tasting a lot of wood on this bourbon.
Wow. Who's your friend there?
Yeah, can you not share everything that comes right to your mind?
Right.
And by wood, he means large cock.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots. No,
man,
that's not
if I
what
could taste some wood right now.
That's what goes through your mind. I'm thinking oak.
Oak.
The barrel.
That's the name of your boyfriend?
My bad. He was talking about the bourbon.
Yes,
I thought that was the LeBaire dancer.
Right,
His name was Oak.
Hold on. Let's take a moment and try the Grayson bourbon again. Wow.
What is this, Grayson?
Hold on, Grayson bourbon. Here we go.
I tasted lots of oak in that last flavor.
Oh, it's good. It's really good. Good for you. Way to spill it all over and waste it on your.
He can lick it out of his beard later.
Oh my God! Did that bleach my beard?
No.
Did it bleach?
It's hot. This is a hot bourbon.
Yeah.
What is it, Mr. Producer? Oh, he doesn't have the bottle.
It's 119.4.
119. All right, that's gutsy.
Look at Jeff.
We're going gutsy. We're going too hard.
Jeff's sporting a mango pineapple flavored seltzer water.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually lemonade right now.
I just have water. Anyway, we're going with two hot bourbons back to back.
That's what I said. Do we want to go with the 119? And Sean's like, fuck it. Let's do it. I don't got to wake up early.
Turn a corner.
Ooh, Jeff used the F word.
Well, you sure did.
This podcast is getting turned up,
It's
baby.
getting real.
It's getting real.
Bitches.
All right,
Speaking
now we know that the
real,
appendix is a critical organ.
Yeah, well,
so let's move on.
And well documented.
let's talk
well
about-
documented.
Let's talk about to bring it to one of Paul's topics that's coming up really quick.
Elucidated.
We're talking about how big tech is China, TikTok,
Big tech,
and tech TECH.
Howdy, folks. Welcome.
China is, they started up the TikTok and they're trying to dumb us down.
They are.
And they really are. Because, in China,
it's a
they've got
full-blown
these
technological
educational programs. Like in China, they're like, all right, well, you can watch this for a little while. And if you want to listen to this person, you check, just like regular TikTok, you highlight the ones you like.
Well, it's educational in China.
It's educational. They transform it over here, and then they dumb it down. You get a bunch of boobies, which I'm not against, but I'm just saying you get a bunch of girls dancing, but you get a bunch of other things too. You get a bunch of people that are doing crazy stuff.
Challenges.
Like standing on top of a moving semi-truck.
Exactly.
And they get decapitated by
Was it decapitated?
No, it broke a bunch of stuff on his body, and then he fell to the ground and he died.
Yeah, he fell. Yeah.
Jesus. Well, can you
That happened
imagine
out of
being on a
Houston.
truck?
That was literally today. That was today.
The truck is
Somebody was dancing on
12
top of a
foot tall.
semi-truck. Yes.
Imagine a 12-foot tall truck, all right, and you got a bridge that is 14-foot tall to the underside
So
of it.
apparently, eyewitnesses report said he was dancing on top of the semi-truck, and they even, I guess, police stopped the truck, and he had no idea the guy was even on the truck. Like, it wasn't a passenger friend. It was somebody that, like, crawled onto the back of the truck as a TikTok challenge type of thing, maybe? I don't know.
And like hung out there until the truck
Hung
started
out.
moving.
Yep. And then he crawled onto the top. He was dancing. He was videoing himself. And he did duck for one overpass and then stood back up and was videoing himself and boom, hit another overpass.
Was it a teenage kid,
Teenage kid.
adult?
Teenage young man.
Darwinism.
So we have it's TikTok challenge / Darwinism. Yes.
Yeah.
Like how many? What?
We need to open that.
I mean, what was another one? What's the stupid eating the bombs? The
what?
laundry
chips?
detergent.
Tide Pods?
Tide Pod.
Pods. I mean, what the
Pods.
fuck?
Tide
how many?
Pods, yeah.
How many TikTok challenges do we have to have where people die repeatedly?
It's going to
And
continue.
warnings keep coming out. Don't do this. Don't. There was another one. Cinnamon
There's a
challenge?
cinnamon challenge where you eat a tablespoon of cinnamon.
And people died of that.
Well, I don't know if they died.
Yes, they did. Somebody died of that. I mean, there was all this stupid one after another. I wonder if China's like, oh, let's kill more. Fentanyl's not working great enough, right?
We'll get them hop on a
It's not working
semi-truck
fast enough. Let's
one-on-one.
Let's
Oh my
tandem
God.
that. Let's tandem that with
China-
TikTok challenges that
China
kill
gives us fentanyl.
America's youth.
China gives us COVID.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, in my opinion, TikTok needs to go away.
well, I
end
don't-
it. Just end it.
Look,
Yeah, just
the problem isn't TikTok.
It
The
It
problem
is.
it is. However, the problem is no longer TikTok
It's the
because
stupidity of American youth.
it is because look.
And when I say youth, I'm extending that into 35s,
Listen to me.
35-year-olds.
When TikTok came up with their style where you're flipping.
Yeah,
Guess what happened?
And your site.
Guess what happened?
We're transformed.
Who adopted all those types of advertising? Who adopted all those types? You have Instagram
Nancy
now
Pelosi.
has a button where you push it and it's a bunch of flip. Same thing. Same thing as TikTok.
You
go
can
to
totally
YouTube.
get sucked into it, man.
You go to YouTube. Same
YouTube
thing.
has the same thing.
Same thing. Flip.
That's interesting. You said that.
It's not just the reason. Look,
YouTube is the same way.
Look. Here's what I'm trying. I'm trying to broaden the spectrum here. TikTok was the catalyst that got all this going. People realized that people enjoy this.
Captive audience.
It's that quick
Captive
dopamine
audience.
release of interest that you're like, oh, I like that, and then bam, hit on something else. Oh, I like that. Bam, boobies. Boom. Next, oh, someone's jumping off an edge. Well, that's really awesome. Boom, jumping up. Oh, Mountain Dew.
He's not
Never
lying.
thought that shit was color.
He's
No,
not
that's
lying.
right.
And you know what? You nailed something. Dopamine.
Yes.
That's a huge. You're onto something there.
Yes.
That is
the
a
brain,
chemical. It's a chemical reaction.
It's an addiction.
Yes.
And essentially that's what it is. And you have to. And
Did you find it hard to kick?
I
When you-
deleted.
I know. Did you crave it when you're sitting there?
Were you
Like
when
when
I
you-
was there?
when you're
Were you-
shitting?
When I'm there,
or
I'm
something?
just boom, boom,
Were
boom,
you
boom.
fetal in the
And
corner
then-
going?
That wasn't fetal.
Where's my TikTok?
The thing is that if you're there for an hour and 15 minutes, if you're there for an extended period, it doesn't matter how long, you're there for an extended period.
You
and you're
eventually
kinda,
wake up.
and you're kind of like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, you come out of your trance.
and I'm like, oh my god. And
Yeah,
I'll-
but an
and
hour later.
I'm back. I'm like,
But
okay,
an hour later.
yes.
And then you work for maybe 30, 35 minutes, and then no, I'm being serious.
No, I don't do that
And then
during work time.
and then you wander back to the phone to get more
no,
dopamine.
No. I do that
I'm
like
telling you,
Look, here's
real.
No, look, it's not real from what you just said. I'm going to explain it to you how it really happens. Okay,
here we go.
look, I'm telling you.
Don't you elucidate me.
So the thing is, the people. I mean, I imagine there are some people that do this during work. All right, as a TikTok user, I'm like, I wake up at 3:00 in the morning, to go take a pee, and sit down.
3:00 in the morning.
Doesn't matter. I wake up in the middle of the night and I piss. Okay. I go lay back down, and all of a sudden I'm awake. I grab my phone, and now it's 4:20 in the morning because I just picked up my phone.
Because you've been TikToking.
And been in a trance. And
trance is the perfect word, by the way.
Look, but what I'm getting at is that it takes doing it consecutively and recognizing it. Every time you do it, you recognize it, and you look, check, recognize it, check. After you get like so many checks, it only takes, it depends on how the person is. And, you're talking about aptitude, you're talking about, how smart they are. How many checks do you have to build up to realize, all right, and then I got Jeff beating me down. Oh, TikTok, I'm a fucking dick.
Why does he sound like the Swedish chef on?
He did.
Swedish. Yeah, why? He sounds exactly like that.
And Bill Cosby.
Oh, don't. Why?
It's tantalizing.
Please tell me why you just said that.
So,
but you know what? You bring up a good point.
There's a point where a person realizes that this is problematic and that you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I was able to see it, and I stopped. I deleted TikTok, but again, I still have Instagram.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm doing it with Instagram. I'm not waking up at 3:00 in the morning and doing it because now I've got some safeguards in my mind. Well, I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
It's more than these apps. It's also the phone. Like, I'll be working, like
in general, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be working, and then my phone, because I have it directly to my hearing aids, right? And so the text message goes off,
Dude,
and I'm like, and I stop, and I'm like, oh, I got a text message, and then I go and I look at the text message.
Oh, Jeff sending another dick pic.
Yep, sending another junk pics, and I'm like, damn it,
oh,
dude.
Great, this is a picture of his freaking.
Well, that's.
But hold on.
Oh, he's showing his girth this
his
time.
appendix.
Yeah, really.
Well, I know. I've read something
that's a very impressive appendix. You got
wow, that's 4 inches.
Yeah,
that people that
Look
sound
at the girth.
elicits a response subconsciously that I have to look at it.
Yes,
I have to look at it. So that's why you see. They said that's why you see a lot of people in their car picking their phone up, because it's an involuntary response to that ding. I gotta see. I gotta see.
And I mean, think about how many times we've had downtime for some reason. Just whatever it is, we're at a stoplight. We were sitting there and there's nothing going on, and our instinct is to reach for the phone. Everybody. If you ever sit in a waiting room anywhere on the planet.
Dopamine.
I read a book.
That's exactly
anywhere.
On the fucking road driving and during a traffic jam?
No, at a doctor's office or something like that.
In a waiting room anywhere
on
the planet, and I guarantee, look up, and there would be in a waiting room with 7 people, all 7 people on their phone.
Oh, but hold on. Jeff brings up a good reason. He mentioned he read a book. Now, you don't have to pick up a tangible hardback book to read it. I mean, you can pick up your phone and read a book.
Yeah, that's not what he's doing, though.
But
no one
is.
who's looking at the phone is reading a book. Very few people.
Right here, I'll show you.
No. I'm not saying. Anyway, hear me out here. So here we go.
Right
so
there.
we were talking about. I get it. No, that's great.
Penises like us.
No, that's great. So anyway, you were talking about you get sucked into the phone, right? So here, boom, I got my text message. It dinged in my hearing aids, and then I'm looking at my phone, and then what do? It's almost like in a trance. I click on Fox News.
Oh,
yep, and I open up the app.
The next thing
yep,
I need
and
to
I open
off.
up the app. I open up the app, and I'm not even clicking on the articles. I'm just scrolling through the headlines.
And you're getting mad.
And I go, and I keep going, and I reach the end.
Hate,
I reach the end.
Hate,
and so you know what I do?
Hate.
I close that app, and I'm literally in a trance, and I open up Breitbart, and now I'm scrolling through Breitbart, and I'm scrolling, and I have an aggregate site, right, where there's like 50 different,
right,
and I'm clicking on the next one, scrolling. Next thing I know, 45 minutes had gone by.
Yeah.
And I've been scrolling through news headlines.
You need to delete those.
Yeah. I got to do something.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily...
It's no different than TikTok, other than I'm
not
seeing...
Well, it is. The content.
I'm not seeing
is different.
Yeah, but it's still... It takes over.
It
takes over.
It takes over.
It 100% takes over.
I think the content is valid because the content that TikTok gives our kids, and to us if we look at it,
is mindless stupidity.
It's not good.
No.
Right? It's fun, but it's not good for developing minds. I think we're old enough to probably look at it and go, wow, that's really fucking stupid. It's not going to impact us too much.
No.
But your 10, 11, 12-year-old kids are looking at that stuff. And like I said, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but, they did a study, and the number one profession in the U.S. is to be a influencer. That's what the number one job wants to be from today's youth.
That's because you can be yourself, and you don't have to work at all, and you make a ton of money doing it.
And in China, it's an astronaut.
Yeah. So
right.
So there's from
because they don't show that shit in China.
Psychology,
unbelievable.
10.medium.com says that when on social media apps like TikTok, dopamine hits your brain in one of two ways. You receive an unpredictable reward, and your brain rewards you with a healthy dose of dopamine.
Yep.
So your brain adapts to the unpredictable reward system and preemptively rewards your anticipated risk, which is exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't TikTok, but it was, you pick up your phone and you're just like, boom, boom.
Yep.
And it's like you get these routines.
You're like, what am I going to find?
Yep.
What
I'm
am I
getting
going to
this
see?
rush of dopamine, and then I have an erection.
Whoa.
And then,
Whoa.
Oh, wait a second.
I didn't know you had your pump working at the same
I
time.
didn't know that you had.
Oh. Hold on. What's going on with
what?
What pump? Okay, that got weird.
Yeah,
anyway, so I think dopamine is 100% exactly what's going on, and it's sad.
Well,
and it's sad.
Not just these.
And
these
China's trying to kill us all.
But look, there's also we chatted about the Darwinism of trying to be some of the stars. So you get two sides of the glass here. You got the side where you have the users that are using these apps to fall in this addictive cycle. Then you have something equally as bad. You've got the people that are the performers that are equally
who want to go viral.
Oh, they want to go viral. They want to be addictive.
Influencers.
Oh my God, the YouTube folk out there are itching to be able to get subscribers, to get viewers.
They're trying to hit their home run.
I want to get a million views on this. They want the easy way out. And
I want to get paid. I'm going
to jump up on a fucking truck and do some dancing and dodge a few tunnels. Bam!
Dead.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's stupidity. There was another one. I forgot.
It's endless. There's
another one this week. It was like something like that. I wish I could remember what it was.
I hate to say it. There is something that happened this week, and that was the air show.
Where that wasn't Darwinism. That was a tragedy.
Well, you know what? It could have been, though. We don't know why that one plane hit. Was it a P-17 that hit
It was a P-63
Lightning, I think.
That dove,
the smaller one.
Seemed like it was out of control.
So the B-17
and sliced through the bomber.
What was it? A B-52 bomber?
It was a B-17.
A B-17 bomber,
which is not a small plane.
No, it's not. It freaking severed it. And I was watching an interview.
Cut the tail off. That was tragic, man.
I went to an interview. I watched an interview.
Have
you
guys
guy,
seen the footage?
I have.
Oh, hundreds
of
times.
You sent
right.
one.
I sent it. Yeah.
You sent one, and it was awful.
Go ahead and play it real quick. I want to see the.
It's awful.
There's a lot of talk. Really, mostly
6 people died when that happened.
Yeah, I mean. They're showing the plane, and it's turning at about a 60-degree arc, and the bomber was going straight, and the P-63 is that what you said?
Yeah, the P-63.
Yeah, the P-63 was.
I have to think that he either lost control.
Or he passed out, or something.
Well, I mean,
they won't show it.
They're not showing it.
It's frustrating.
Well, I mean, it depends on what thing. Well, but still, the thing is that the P-63 was kind of a not necessarily. It was heading downward at like I said, a 60-degree arc-ish. So it was like if you imagine a circle, he was trying to spin around. I don't think he saw that plane until the last second.
No, then it was.
He was probably turning a circle and looking the opposite direction for where he's going.
And just lost track of what he was doing, I guess.
But look how many airplanes are in the fucking air. there. I mean, you look in the background.
Oh, okay. And so, that's a good point. All right, so what they were trying to simulate was
see that right
planes.
There.
They were trying to simulate planes, fighter planes attacking bombers.
He just got
too
close.
He screwed up.
I have a hard time finding the P-63 in that mess. I see the tail, but where does the P-63 go?
Bam.
But where's it at now?
Oh, it vaporizes.
It does.
It's not a very big plane.
Oh, I know.
It
but
literally just
it just disintegrates. But no, when you see it on the ground, you still see the fuselage.
But still, you got to imagine what. Okay, stop right there.
I see it. It's right there.
Yep, it's still falling right
big,
there.
It just, that's it. That's terrible.
And they're all
it's
dead.
Terrible. 6 people died.
So I saw an interview with the guy that was supposed to be on the plane.
Oh,
and he was just like, "Yeah, I had something going on, and I tried to get there, and I couldn't make it in time, and I just said go without me,
and he would be dead."
Yeah.
Well, because I watched that because I was
I
horrified.
just lost my best friend. He said my best friend was on that plane. We travel all over and we fly all over, and I was supposed to be on that plane with him. And that he says God chose to take him at that time, and He took him the way He wanted to.
What I think about is I watched this, and I watched it probably more than I should have, and I'm thinking by the time that plane hit the plane, there were 3 seconds before it hit the ground.
Oh,
what were those 3 seconds like? Was it just a oh shit gone?
Yes.
No time to react. There's no time to react.
Oh, what can you do? The plane was cut in half. It wasn't like they had any control. As a matter of fact, if you look at the bomber,
3 seconds.
No, it got cut in half, and then look, it spun around.
Like right now,
it gets spun around and drops straight down. Bam, bam.
Like all the fuel is on that top section,
and the fuel just
in
goes
the
up.
wings. The fuel is stored in the wings on that the bomber.
Yeah, they were dead. They were dead before.
That's what I mean. Those
less than 10 seconds later.
Those 3 seconds.
I don't know about that.
Was it just?
You want to think that, but the reality of it is they probably survived until that fucker blew up and they bounced a few times.
No,
like
they're alive here.
Alive. Impact
and
knocked out.
And not to be graphic, but my sons are saying that the videos that they saw, you see bodies flying out of the bomber.
Really?
Yes. Awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Terrible. The whole thing is terrible.
And they say they probably won't know the true reason because these old planes don't have black boxes.
They don't have black boxes.
No.
They do have.
They have a GPS.
Yeah, they have a GPS, but they don't offer a whole lot. They just, he was trying to, like, the guy that was in the interview was going, "Oh, it's GPS." Yeah, they don't do shit. They tell you where you're at on the planet. I think they tell you the elevation, and I think that's about it.
And it was interesting that I read one of the comments after this happened, and it was a parent, and she said, "That is exactly why I don't go to air shows, because this kind of stuff happens." And I was thinking to myself,
it doesn't
how many times has it happened?
It has happened.
It has happened a number of times.
It has.
It really has. And I'm talking about worldwide, right? I mean, there are air shows all over the
shit
world.
Happens. It's the same as going down the street. It's the same as anything else. Shit fucking happens,
I get it. But I'm not advocating that they stop doing air shows, but maybe they just don't get crazy. Maybe they just fly over the airfield and show the different planes.
Obvious.
I mean, here he is, like, trying to do.
But look, who was in the
stuff.
plane? If they show you who was actually flying it, a bunch of old geezers.
Well, their American Airlines pilot was one of the main
They're
guys.
a bunch of old geezers that should be fucking retired.
Oh, come on! No, they're active.
Hey, look.
No, they're active American Airlines pilots.
They're not.
Yes,
no,
yes, yes.
I saw the pictures. They were all retired.
No, I don't know about that.
What?
I think the guy that was driving the bomber or flying the bomber is an active American Airlines pilot. But maybe
the
maybe I'm wrong.
bomber is irrelevant. The bomber didn't do anything wrong.
No,
it was the P-63 that hit
but you were
them.
characterizing like who these people are
but
at these air shows.
Did
right?
you see the pictures
Well, yeah,
of the people
there
that
were
passed?
a lot of retired guys. Sure,
There are a bunch of old geezers in there.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not saying it would have made a difference. It's not fair from the perspective that it would have made a difference, but the fact is still that they were old geezers in there.
Yeah, well.
And could that have made a difference? I don't know. Maybe when the bomber was flying forward, and as you saw in the background prior to that one specific shot, you saw bombers lined up, and they're all coming in. So, I mean, that's got to be tough. We're watching a tremendous amount of videos. Kudos, producer, for popping
And
these all up.
this one right here is probably the most telling. I bet you if you were to zoom in like people are doing, you can see
God bless
people coming down. Yeah,
there are so many different perspectives. Look at this. This is amazing. So we see the Big 52 flying, and then you see a P-63 come out of the corner and just hit it from the side, severing the tail
right
from
behind
the midsection all the way back. So it's just like if you were in the midsection, there's almost a chance of survival because there's no fuel back there.
Yeah,
you know?
but that tail section completely flattens when it hits the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, it's a horrible thing. It's
horrible.
Tragic, and Godspeed. Hope those folks, a lot of guilt.
That's just right down there in Addison.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, that's the other thing. It was totally.
It was right here
local.
in our backyard.
Yeah.
Local for us, and that was
Well, we see these planes fly around quite a bit. At least I do up here, because when they do their shows, they'll fly up here, make their circle back, and go back because they'll fly over the house sometimes.
And you know what's interesting? When they do, and it's only a couple times that the bombers have flown over my house to come back from an air show or whatever. The noise they make are very
they're distinctive.
They're very distinctive, and there are people that like from the war. I mean, I don't know how many
they get all freaked out. They get
because they were children when they heard those bombers.
Baba Black Sheep,
and it was a very unique sound that basically was like PTSD.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Remember that show with was it Robert Conrad?
That's Bob Conrad, yeah.
And that was fantastic.
I never watched it. I always wanted to.
Baba
but
Black Sheep?
Man,
I love that.
Yeah, I
show.
never watched it. For whatever reason, my family never got into it. But that was back in the 70s, wasn't it? It was
the late 70s. I tell you what, one thing they had on that show is one of the strange ones is that someone was mentioning, I think it may have been even my dad. He was talking about how there was one of the pilots was rich. I'm sorry, what I meant to say is one of the pilots that was there where my dad was at was wealthy. His family was wealthy. And he had wrote home and said, well, we don't have anything to eat here. It sucks. And his dad sends a plane to there and drops off like large pizza ovens and like a gazillion pizzas.
Who did this?
I don't know. My dad told the story about when he was out there and this happened.
Oh, wow.
In the Vietnam era, and he just told me this a couple weeks ago, which kind of brings up the memory of it. And so he's just like, yeah, that happened. And so whenever we wanted pizza, it was free, and we just went on the other side of the airport.
Wow.
And it was because they had so much of it. They were just like cooking it 24 hours a day, and it was really cool. It's just like And plus, they had like a bunch of barbecues. They had grills set up, and it got to the point where it was like a thing to have, which was on the airport was where you can go get food. And they had like just shitloads of grills, and people were out there and they were grilling, and people were just like, "I've never had chicken like this. I've never had beef like this. How do you do that kind of stuff?" And I even kind of translate that into today, where you kind of like, grew up. My dad cooked. Yeah, he had ribs on the grill and stuff like that. I'm like, where do you learn that kind of stuff? I mean, you at your house, Jeff. You cook on your grill and you have the little pellets that fall down. And I did something. I don't want to say it was disastrous, but I cooked another fucking shoulder this past weekend, a pork shoulder, and slow cooked it, and I did everything right, and it turned out actually pretty good in retrospect. But it just like when you bring your fucking shoulder out of your smoker and it's just like that bone that just fucking comes right on out, and I'm just like, oh, that is just like juicy as fuck. I'm like, I can't get that from my Instapot.
Right.
I can't. I tried to put on the slow pork thing, and so I'm like, it's just a little frustrating. I wish there were more.
Well, how long did you cook it?
Like 14 hours.
Oh, well, you'd think it would do it.
Yeah.
I
mean, it was still loose. Don't get me wrong, but it was just.
You just couldn't pull it out cleanly.
It just wasn't like yours that came out of the smoker. It was just. know.
That makes me think about ribs. Let me ask you. I've been meaning to ask you this. So, is the litmus test for the perfectly cooked ribs being able to touch the bone and just pulling it out?
For some people, I know if you have a competition rib, they don't want that to happen. They want you to be able to bite the bone and actually have to pull the meat off the bone. For a competition, me personally, I'd rather have the bone come out because that means your meat is that tender.
Yeah.
But competition-wise, they don't want that.
Really?
Yes.
That is surprising because you make those beef ribs for me, right?
Oh yeah, you head up to Colorado, right?
Oh yeah, ate every last one of them. But I will tell you, when I brought it, I had a whole package that was still vacuum packed that I hadn't opened, and I brought it back from Colorado. I cut them out of the package, put them on my little pan on the stovetop, and then I boil the water, steam it. I steam it right on a rack with the lid on it, and did that for, I don't know, a couple minutes, 3 minutes, because it was already cooked.
Right.
It was already cooked. I was just warming it up.
Right.
And then I put it on the plate, and it literally, every time I touched the bone, it went, and I was like, oh, wow. And I devoured it. It was better. It was better than the first time I cooked it.
Yeah.
That you cooked it and served it.
I like having extras and freezing them because
Oh my God.
Vacuum packing them.
Yeah, I'll vacuum pack and I'll just throw the whole bag in boiling water.
And you just put in boiling water and boom, it's just like
man. I do a lot of this, heating up things that have already been cooked on the rack over steam with the lid. And I'm telling you, it is as if it was cooked for the first time.
Yeah.
Leftovers all the time, and I'm talking about anything. I made chicken fried rice in my Instapot. And boom.
Well, the key is the moisture.
I put it on the steam. I do so many things on the steam. Yes.
Like if you put something in the microwave, you got to have water with it. You got to put a wet rag over it.
I don't even do that anymore. I steam everything, and it takes almost as much time. I mean, it takes a couple more minutes. I mean,
it's kind of crazy.
As fast as you can boil water, you can reheat leftover food on like I said, on a rack with the lid on, and it is as good as better than the first time you cooked it.
I cooked my pork shoulder I just shared with you. I cooked it with soda.
It was like a Coke.
Soda?
Similar. It was
Mr.
It was
Pibb.
a Mexican soda. So it was
extra sugar.
Real sugar.
It was sugar cane. So it was passion fruit was the name of it. And it smelled horrible, frankly. Tastes good, smells horrible. I don't know if you've ever had it.
So hold on. Describe how you did this. When you poured the soda over the...
So I had one of those Instapots. I have a really nice one.
Okay, so you poured it in the pot.
Yeah, it's like a pressure cooker Instapot thing, and it. I got you. It really. I mean, the soda was terrible as far as like if you smell it, you're like, "Fuck, this is not very good." But when you taste it, it tastes great. And I like buying them, like especially the Mandarin orange soda because I love the orange soda.
Right.
And
but meat,
the passion fruit, I was kind of like, I don't know about this, and I was like, well, you know what? I was thinking this soda is going to with the acid in there is going to break it down great, and it tastes fantastic. I was going to bring some tonight, but I forgot.
Well, I know I do. The last roast I did it in the crock pot.
There you go. Mr. Producer popped it up there.
And I put a Coke.
A Coke, yeah. So Shelley uses the recipe where you pour in a Coke in the crock pot.
It's that acid. That acid does a really good job breaking it down.
Absolutely. So what's interesting is I have.
Jarritos.
We just bought
Jarritos.
What? What just happened?
That's how you say it.
Jarritos, the soda pop. The Jarritos. We had Mandarin and what was the other one? Passion fruit.
I didn't see passion fruit up there.
I didn't see it either, but I had.
Where do you buy this stuff?
I bought it at Kroger.
Kroger has it.
You know, I was at Walmart yesterday, and I was impressed by the international section.
Oh.
I mean, damn. I mean, how cool is it that if you're from Mexico or you're from, wherever, that you can get some of the stuff that you can get from home.
Like you get tortillas?
Like what?
No, I'm talking about the international section where it's like
Goya,
where all the packaging is in like not English.
They shouldn't have any of that.
I know.
I started
like dumping stuff on it, and I glued myself to the.
It should just be chicken wings and White Castles.
Protesting big time. I was like, only American food. Only American food.
What What did that mean? Okay, get down, sir. We've got your box of cereal right here.
We get your Cheerios.
I'm sitting
Here
on the
you
floor.
go.
I'm sitting on the floor, and they're like, really?
Here's your Lucky
Really?
Charm. Shut the fuck up.
That's kind of how I feel about these idiots when they come up on them, like at the paintings and stuff.
That
They're
is
like,
ridiculous.
Why don't they just
they're
grab
just
them and throw their ass out?
I would want to if they damage the paintings.
Do you know what a
I
slapper?
would want to beat the
Do you know what a
shit out of
slapper
them.
is? A slapper is like a piece of leather that's got it's weighted. It's like a belt but shorter. Like imagine like a
whip.
horse whip, a small little whip, probably about 14 inches. They could be different lengths, but the spirit of it it has something hard at the end, and it's leather.
Whacking protesters with it.
Oh, dude, you just smack them. Period, and it's rigid, so it's like a stick, but it's got a little give. So it's got just enough give for you to smack that head. And
I say cane them.
Oh, dude, but if you
I can promise you,
got
if
hit
you
with a slapper, you ever get hit with a slapper in the back of the head, it is so painful because it doesn't really like open your head up or anything like that. It's just so
It just
fucking
contuses.
painful. Oh,
No,
it's
so
just like
just
fuck, that
think
hurts. It
about
hurts.
this.
It hurts.
that would be great. Just think about like Singapore has no tolerance for
There
crime.
you go, Jarritos passion fruit right there.
There it is. They have no tolerance for crime.
It's Geratos.
At all.
Oh
so
my God.
imagine if there was a art gallery in Singapore and they some of these fools do this shit, they pull them out and they cane them or they whatever you call them, slapstick them.
Hey, we'll call it a leather slapper. Pull up a leather slapper.
How many other protesters do you know would be like, yeah, hey, we're not going to do that this weekend. Last time we got caned.
Yeah,
and we were in prison for 8 months.
Well, I think the prison is the big thing because even here in the States, you'll see the footage where they'll. Oh, I don't know if it's in the States or not, where they'll get the fire hoses out and on full blast knock these people down.
Oh shit!
Have you seen that?
Dude,
Oh,
it'll do worse than that.
Blow them up.
Yeah, it'll fuck them up.
Yeah,
like,
it lacerates their appendix.
well,
Well, you don't need an appendix.
And then
It
they
has no
have like
use.
no immunity system at all. They're like,
No,
my
but
probiotics, my probiotics.
it does stuff like if you aim that cannon at them, it'll fuck them up.
Yeah.
It'll be bad. You know what?
It'll sever their spleen.
You brought up Mexico, and you know what is interesting? Mexico has a new advertisement put out for drug prevention, and they were like, "Hey, look, drugs are bad. You need not to do drugs because this is what can happen to you."
They show Americans.
They have a video that pops up, and guess where they're at? They're in Philadelphia, and they're strolling the Philadelphia streets. And they're showing all the fucking addicts. You all right over there,
Trump,
Paul?
No.
Did you inhale some bourbon?
No.
Did the bourbon go the wrong way?
119 proof bourbon went up my nose because they show Americans. And my nasal cavities are absolutely on fire right now. I shit you not. Sorry. Anyway, so they were showing Philadelphia drug addicts.
Yeah, they were showing
in Mexico.
It's the Mexican anti-drug program is showing. There you go. Mexico uses Philly drug scenes for anti-drug ad. Oh, this is news. This is fresh. Hot off
And
the,
we can't hear this right now, right?
Well, I imagine. There we go. Yeah, see if you can pull up a little language on
Never
here.
identify the city, but the scenes are noticeably from Kensington, an infamous Philly neighborhood operating as an open-air drug market, particularly
look at
for
that.
heroin. Two of the ads show homeless people as well as drug users laid out on the ground, barely walking or slumped over. A spokesperson for Mexico's president said the ads are meant to warn young people of the effects of drugs like fentanyl and meth.
En Estados Unidos hay una crisis
in the United States.
Yeah. So look, here's the deal. It's we're at a point now where we're the third world country, where we have pieces of shit countries. I don't want to call Mexico a piece of shit. It's not. It wouldn't. You look at the United States, you look at Mexico, and you're like, all right, Mexico is throwing us under the bus. I mean, come on, man.
Is it bad that the back of my eyeballs are tingling and I'm kind of on fire?
Dude, how did that happen?
It went up my nose.
Why are you snorting it?
Yeah, why'd you snort your
Well,
120 proof
I
bourbon?
laughed while drinking.
In America.
I'm not kidding. This is a very unusual experience.
Is it still burning?
Yes. It's burning behind my eyeballs. It's burning at the top of my nose. It's burning basically everywhere in my sinus cavities.
Oh, so you have bourbon in your sinus.
So I have bourbon. I have 119 proof bourbon in my sinus right now. Sinus cavity.
I don't know how to fix that.
No,
wow, that's really good.
I think it just takes time.
What are we drinking right now?
Grayson.
Grayson.
The Grayson. Did we ever find out?
Texas distilled and bottled.
Yeah, this Grayson is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I'm enjoying a lot of the bourbon here. We started talking about the bourbons and all the bourbons were before were oh, these bourbons are bad. This bourbon's bad.
We're getting better.
Yeah, they're
great.
like, we're going back to some of them. We're like, well, these bourbons aren't that bad. I'm beginning to think we're just losers, and you got to learn to appreciate it. It's kind of like the Jarritas sodas, where you just have a bunch of different flavors. They're all good.
Except passion fruit.
Except for passion fruit tastes good. Just don't smell it.
The only concern I have is I think the second half bourbons have like a 35% chance of being better, like rated better.
Oh, yeah.
Like every second half bourbon is always great.
25.3333. Repeating, of course.
Repeating, of course.
Mr. Producer, what is that picture down there? It says cows and methane.
Oh, this is right up fucking Jeff's alley.
We're not
Cows
doing
release
this.
methane from their butts. So does tobacco.
What is that?
So does tobacco. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Cows
It's an
release methane
anti-cigarette.
from their butts. So does tobacco. So tobacco releases methane from their butts.
Cigarettes release a lot of bullshit. I think people that smoke now they're into a rude awakening because they're not just smoking cigarettes. They're not smoking tobacco. The spirit of smoking tobacco is gone. They have tobacco now that is being sprayed with nicotine. And if you think that that's not true, you're lost your fucking mind.
Well, how is that any different than vaping?
Well, hold on. That's a whole different thing, but still just as bad.
Just as bad.
But I'm talking about like tobacco. I mean, the original idea for tobacco, and that's why the United States made a lot of their money. I mean, their commerce was based on the tobacco production. They went back and were selling it to the United Kingdom and Europe, where we were selling tobacco, and they were fucking buying it like crazy. Mm-hmm. And the spirit of that has changed. Just kind of like, all right, well, how can we get people addicted to tobacco? The people that smoke now are so they don't smoke tobacco as much now. I mean, right now the thing is cigars, not the cigarettes. Cigarettes are still. I mean, you go to any gas station, it's less, which is great. I don't like cigarette smokers. It doesn't matter to me. But there was a time where you go up to a gas station and they have like 15,000 different packs of shit.
You're saying they have less cigarettes available?
I would say
that industry is starting to die down?
I would say it's diminishing to a certain point. Yes. I'd say it's yes.
I would be surprised by that.
Well, I mean, look, you've got competition from the vape. All right, so that is having a huge foothold on that, and the vape is a whole different animal. Again, with the vape, you probably have the initial contents of that stuff that's being vaporized. As this is a healthy way to get the tobacco.
It's not smoke. It's vapor.
It's vape, but the problem isn't necessarily what's in the tubes. The problem is the catalyst. The catalyst to heat the tubes is a fuel. And once you use that, the fuel is the part that's fucking up your lungs. It's the fuel, which is it could be a battery operated fuel. It could be something other. It's the heating element part of it that's fucking you up.
I don't know.
It's just crazy. They need to drop that shit right away because the vaping, there are more concerns about the stuff that we don't know about vaping than we do.
Oh, I agree. And I'm terrified that when these kids turn 35, 35 to 40,
they're going to be like, you vaped, didn't you?
And they're going to be like,
years.
yeah, you're on the waiting list for lungs, but there's like 500 million people that are ahead of you.
So here's an APAP machine.
Yeah.
And they all do it.
Yeah.
All of our boys do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think Steven does. I don't think Preston does.
Yeah.
Hold on. What do you know something I don't?
No, I don't. But it's so prevalent that I would be shocked if they don't.
Well,
that prevalent. It's literally that prevalent.
I talked to my boys about it quite a bit. Brandon used to do it when he was a freshman in college on the football team.
I ripped his ass too, didn't I?
And he did it, and he stopped it. And he said it was hard.
Yeah.
It was extremely hard to stop. And he stopped. and his experience scared Steven, so he never picked it up.
Great.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
That's great. Because my oldest stopped, said it was the hardest thing he ever did, and then all of his friends did it, and he just fell back into it.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's still doing it.
So I remember
and then he complained about, he was working out, and he, couldn't, his lungs weren't working great.
You're like, oh.
Yep.
What are you putting into it?
Exactly. That's what I said.
What does he say to that?
I said that should clue into what you're doing to yourself.
I know that.
No, he was like, you're right, but I can't quit. It's the nicotine.
Well, you can quit.
I know.
It's just hard.
Oh, I know. I trust me. And then you hear stories of there was some. I had a friend whose son needed to have his wisdom teeth pulled, and they asked him, "Do you vape?" And he was like, "Well, yeah." He goes, "Well, okay. Well, then I can't. We can't do this surgery until you stop vaping." And it was because when he pulls the teeth, vaping melts the gum. Yes, listen to this. It's just horrific. Vaping melts your gums.
It creates
and it creates a dry socket.
It creates what they call a popcorn lung.
No. We're talking about teeth.
Dry socket.
We're talking about teeth.
Oh, teeth. Okay.
Yeah. So they literally
those
said,
dry sockets are very painful.
Yeah, they said they would not pull his teeth for wisdom teeth because if you're vaping, then it deals off.
It's also known as alveolar osteitis.
Well, that's what they usually call it, but I didn't want you guys to get confused.
All right.
So, there's nicotine addiction, there's severe lung injury. Seizures have been known, cryptogenic organizing pneumonia, COP, formerly known as idiopathic bronchiolitis or obliterans, which, that Jeff, you're probably familiar with that. Otherwise known as BOOP, B-O-O-P.
Really?
Wow.
Boop.
B-O-O-P.
Jeez.
Idiopathic bronchiolitis obliterations, organizing otherwise known as BOOP. You got popcorn lung, strokes, and heart attacks. Those are the top 10 risks of vaping, and it just gets worse. I mean, you're better off just smoking cigarettes
at this point.
But
I actually don't think that's true, but they're both awful. I mean,
at this point, I don't know why anyone would pick that habit up.
Because everyone at that age group is doing it.
I'll tell you why. Because you have vaping celebrities. You have Katy Perry, Leonardo da Vinci. You have Catherine
Leonardo da Vinci is
Jack
like
Nicholson,
our age.
Johnny Depp, Simon Cowell, Katie Moss, Lindsay Lohan.
All vapors, huh?
Catherine Zeta-Jones, Michelle Rodriguez, Sarah Silverman, Isla Julia, Courtney Love. I mean, it's endless and endless. Jack Black, John Cusack, Dennis Quaid.
They all vape.
Oh.
Is that what it says? Is that what website you're on?
I'm looking right now. It's vaping celebrities.
Oh,
Willie
wow.
fucking Nelson, Mark Jacobs, Christine Milan.
You know what? I would say
He's a paragon of
I would
health.
say fentanyl.
Charlie Sheen.
I would say fentanyl is the number one addiction that's killing people, and I would say
that's not an addiction. That's death.
Yeah, death.
Those are not overdoses.
Fentanyl is the number one cause of death in the United States.
Yes, but it's not automatic.
Yes,
death.
it is.
There are people who take fentanyl.
It's one pill.
No, look, Jeff, you're right, but wrong. It is
in
one
some
pill
cases,
for
yes.
some folks.
That's what's happening today.
But
Yes,
there are a
people
lot
are
of
taking
people
the pill
who are
and they die. But
addicted to fentanyl.
If there are some folks that take a quantified amount that's been either diagnosed or they can handle.
That's one thing. But what's happening today is it's one pill.
Oh yeah.
Death.
I don't disagree with
and that's what's happening
They pop
today.
an M&M filled with fentanyl
That's what.
and boom.
And I told Steven and Brent, I was like, if you're at a party,
you don't get a second chance.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Anyone asks you,
no second chance.
Hey, I got this whatever Lexapro. You want to take this? Say no. You don't know what the fuck is in
You don't
that.
know what it is.
And it's one pill, and you're done.
One pill done. That is absolutely true. But there are also a lot of people that are addicted to fentanyl, just like they're addicted to meth and blah blah blah.
No, I get that.
And if they get it from a
All right,
source
so
that they trust or whatever,
let me share a little bit.
if you can even do
so
that.
there is a lady. Austin probably knows this family, but so this was, I'll just say 10 years ago. I'm probably lying, but I'll just say 10 years ago. This lady was addicted to fentanyl. This lady was addicted to a bunch of shit. She had a kid at Gunstream Elementary.
Oh, wow.
And she would show up at school sucking on fentanyl lollipops.
Wow.
It was prescribed to her. All right. As a way to get over some other stuff. I guess she was addicted to morphine.
The opioids.
Yeah. The whole family. So they try to wean her by giving her this other stuff. So when she would show up just sucking on this like a lollipop, like in front of people.
Did you ask her what it was?
No, Tara, I didn't know her. I've never seen her. Actually, that's not true. I've seen her twice at some of the events that were at the school. Right. What do they call them?
Events at the school.
The events at the school. You know, you get the and this is elementary school. So, you know, there's like she was sitting up in front of us. She was cross-eyed. I think she was missing one tooth, but she didn't. I know I just described the typical crackhead.
It's the meth head.
The meth head.
She wasn't like sickly when you looked at her.
No, of course not.
No, she didn't really seem sickly. Her husband was a lawyer, and he was kind of, you know, they had a weird relationship. I don't give a fuck. It's none of my business. They didn't seem to not get along, but it's just like she had an addiction and things went bad, and it just, you know what? It's just a bad
it
element.
Happens,
you know,
it
happens
more than you know.
The biggest problem I have right now, which really really makes me angry, and it's the lack of our administration is just simply just not doing.
They're ignoring.
They're ignoring it
about it.
Just like the southern border, they're
not
ignoring
anything
because they'll have to hold China responsible for it.
They had China,
and they don't want to do that because he's in the
conversation.
back pocket of Xi Jinping.
I know it.
Right?
And I'm just. It really bothers me that we have all this stuff going on. And look, Democrat, Republican, I don't care. You know what? I don't care. I'll give in. I'll give in to a bunch of your shit that you want. Can you please stop the fentanyl from coming over? Can you please close the borders down? Can you please protect our home?
So you weren't in the room when Jeff and I were talking about this, but we read that 150, right? 150 people overdose and die from fentanyl every day.
150?
A day.
That's it?
A day. Every day.
That's it.
I think that's a lot.
I don't think that's accurate.
I hear over 100,000 people a year die from fentanyl.
No, I think that's wrong. Because well, hold on. From what I understood, fentanyl is the #1 killer in the United States over heart attacks.
I don't know. Everything I've heard is 100,000 people a year.
Well, 150 a day. What is 365 times 150?
About 45 grand, 45,000, right?
Yeah, that's not enough.
55,000.
So that's low. That number's low.
Yeah.
That's 55,000 basically.
Yeah, everything I hear is 120,000 people a year die of fentanyl overdose.
Yeah, it's tragic. And you know what's really tragic is when you hear those stories of
I want to be corrected here because, well, actually, I'm pulling up some stuff right now that's not showing fentanyl as the #1, but that's from 2000. I probably need to put down 2022. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to clarify this to make sure I'm telling the truth. What is the most common cause of death worldwide? 2022. Lower respiratory infections. Fentanyl is not even on the list. That's so they're just not putting it on there. That's from the World Health Organization. So of course,
hold on, go scroll back. Read Americans suffered deadly fentanyl overdoses in record numbers. Click on that one, and it says,
and they're not really overdoses in a lot of these. They're poisonings.
Right.
You take one pill, that's not, or
and some die, some don't.
It is an overdose, but it's not an addiction. Right.
Right.
So there's a difference there.
It's not. In other words, it's not prolonged use.
It's this teenager or young adult who takes this pill from someone and dies.
Right.
COVID.
Unbelievable.
You see how the flu is coming back. Actually, as a matter of fact, Brandon told me today he has the flu.
Yeah, I thought it was eradicated.
Well, it was for 2 years.
Because we had no cases of flu during the COVID deal.
No. It's amazing.
Or cold.
There are so many organizations that, like there was a topic today with, do you think it was a good idea to, quote unquote, well, do you think it was a good idea to have our American soldiers exposed to the COVID immunization or whatever
Vaccine.
they're calling it, the vaccine. Do you think it was a smart idea to expose the United States soldiers to this vaccine? And the responses from 3 separate experts, no.
All 3, no.
No.
It's an experimental.
No, absolutely not.
Don't get me started.
All 3, absolutely not.
It's experimental. And now,
and they're still strumming that guitar.
Oh, they are.
Have you seen all the
There's
commercials?
a hurricane coming in. Don't forget to get your vaccines.
You seen all the commercials on TV these days about COVID and vaccines and make sure you get your booster and
it's amazing.
All this stuff.
And yet now it's becoming more and more prevalent where they're talking about the myocarditis or whatever, the heart disease that's caused by the vaccine. They're coming out with it over and over and over again now.
Yep.
Like now they're not afraid for the doctors are now losing their fear of being canceled and having their medical
in California, didn't Governor Newsom pass a bill that says if a doctor is caught spreading disinformation, they will be arrested or fined, or not fined, but like your license pulled.
4 days ago, myocarditis after COVID vaccination. Research on possible long-term risks underway. Both Pfizer and Moderna are launching clinical trials to track health issues, if any, in the years following a diagnosis of the associated thing. I thought it said.
So, is there a way to be preventative on that?
Don't take it.
Is there? No. Well, if you've already taken it, right? So. Is there something that the doctor can do a test yearly, like your physical, like your EEG or EKG or something like that?
Meaning you've already gotten the vaccine because you were roped into this whole deal, and now what can you do because you're concerned?
I think it'd be more of a DNA
I don't know.
kind
or
of
your
test.
job said this, or whatever. You took it.
Oh, the pressures were unbelievable to take the vaccine.
Right.
So I don't judge anybody that had to save their jobs or to save their family's livelihood. Or to stay in the military, or to be a first responder.
All right, so here is
but I don't know the answer to that.
Is there
Jeff,
a way,
I don't know the answer.
Is there a way to catch that?
Protect yourself
to help prevent it from killing you.
I have no idea.
You could see when you get heart disease, right?
Here's the thing: what those spike proteins were doing.
Great question.
The spike proteins weren't there just for you to. I mean, you take an aspirin to get rid of a headache. You take certain drugs to complement a certain thing that you've got. The spike proteins didn't do that. They didn't go in there and change something. I'm sorry, from like your headache. They went in there and they changed your DNA. It's like they went in there and they put some extra shit going on there where your body fights against it, and now things have changed. Your immune system has changed forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's my understanding.
It's exactly what it is. So are there long-term risks of myocarditis?
Now we're going to get canceled for misinformation.
No. Now the first research in the United States is underway tracking adverse health effects. Well, we're ready to roll. God bless. Man, this is a crazy day. I'm a little seasoned. It's November.
You still have a lot to go there.
Yeah, you do.
Dude, I'm going to pump this out really quick.
Yeah, good luck with that report.
Like a horror insurance. Oh, I'm not doing the report tonight. It's due tomorrow. I'll just have to do it.
Let's wake up early and do it.
So next week is Valentine's. Thanksgiving week. So we have the holidays like literally right on the cusp of the holidays.
I got to go pick up Preston. I'm going to need a truck. I know we talked about it, but I'm trying not to use your truck the best I can.
Well, when are you going down? Next week?
Wednesday.
As in tomorrow?
Next week.
No, next week.
Next Wednesday.
Week.
Yeah. It's going to be a long day. I'll drive straight there and straight back.
Yeah, I don't know if I could go with you because I have to probably go get a car with Brandon.
All right, well, these are things that dudes like us have to do. We got to take care of family, got to take care of business. Holidays coming up. Super excited. Happy fucking Thanksgiving, guys. And
are we going to have podcast next week? I think we should.
Yeah, I think we should.
I'll be here.
I think she'll be okay, but let's call it out. Let's call it that day if something comes up because I don't know. I know boys are coming back in town, family, and all that shit.
Grayson Bourbon, shouts out to you. Dudes like us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
And Mr. Producer, Mr. Austin. Good night, guys.
All right.